start the podcast with some music.
We need something. A drum roll, please.
We need some outtakes. Some outtakes.
Welcome back, everybody. You're tuning in to the Knitting Plays podcast.
Episode.
Is it 11?
It is 11.
11.
Lucky 11. What do they say in bingo?
Is it
something.
Drumsticks or something?
I don't know. They call it something.
Chopsticks?
Chopsticks. They
Chopsticks.
do call it chopsticks. You're right.
Drumsticks.
They go with the kids, right? Hi, everyone. We're back.
Hello.
We're back.
I'm Dinah.
I'm Pam.
You can find me at The Knitting Place on Instagram, The Knitting Place on Ravelry, and The Knitting Place on Facebook.
Pam Sapp on Ravelry and Pam Sapp, where else? Pam Sapp on Ravelry and Pam Sapp on,
what are you on Instagram?
Ravelry and Instagram. That's it. I kept thinking Facebook, but I'm saying I'm not Pam Sapp on Facebook.
All right. Well, now you know where to find us. You can always reach us in the store
Or at the Knitting
email. Exactly. In the shop.
We're very reachable.
Well, catch you guys up. If you missed the last episode, we were talking about whips.
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 Yes. We all
Not
know what that
UFOs,
means.
but whips.
Not FOs, but whips.
Whips.
And we asked you guys, right?
Yes.
How many whips do you have? We were talking about that because Dinah had been cleaning out her closet.
Yes.
Just to refresh your
I just
recollection.
realized, I think I found my sheet of paper here.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Good.
I was looking for it.
There you go. Well, Dinah had been cleaning out her closet, and she was so embarrassed by what she found that she wouldn't even send me a picture.
Way too many whips.
She found many project bags, works in progress, right?
Yes.
So it became
a challenge
to Dinah that she finished something. I think she said on the podcast she would finish something.
I promised you. I made a promise to you, Miss Pam.
You did?
I did.
You did.
That I was going to finish some UFOs. No,
you would.
Excuse me.
Well,
actually, they were UFOs.
Yeah, whips. They're works in progress that you just never put aside.
Right.
I think at some point they become a UFO.
An unfinished object.
You just put it aside and forget about it. Like you're not even working on it at all anymore.
We were talking to Tony from the Knitting Club Yarn Shop.
And what did she say?
She was asking, what is the difference between a UFO and a whip?
I think it's time.
Well, a whip is something that you're actively working
Correct.
on, a work in progress.
Right.
A UFO is an unfinished object.
I think it's something you've put aside for a period of time and you haven't worked on.
So I think I have some UFOs that are finally FOs.
Yes, she's converted her UFOs to FOs.
Yes. I have UFOs and whips to make it all clear. And I'm really very excited to share with you.
Let's see what you have.
Are we starting with that?
Well, we can go back and forth.
Okay.
We have no system to what we talk about, so we can't label parts of the podcast.
All right, we'll start with UFOs, unfinished objects. I've converted.
That are finished,
yes, some of my projects. So we'll start with the first one. This is called the...
that I don't know.
I think it's the Little Sister dress.
That's lovely.
I will definitely put a tag on the bottom because I don't remember the actual name and the designer. But this was a cute little dress. I was very excited to start this project. We had a delivery of Anzula, and it was Dreamy. Now we carry
Was that
Squishy.
Dreamy?
It was Dreamy at the time.
What did you think it was called? The
Little Sister dress.
Okay.
Tora might be. I'm not sure who the
Don't worry.
designer is, but if you want to look it up. In any event, I believe this only took one skein.
Yes, it did.
So this is kind of exciting. It was one skein of a finger
And that's such
yarn.
a pretty color.
Yes, it's really cute. And it was done from the top down. It has two little buttons here. Don't know if you could see it. There might be a little bit of a glare. But it's a very pretty, almost like a carnation, a deep carnation pink. Yep. Very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very happy. Yes, this is probably how many years old?
I would say that's at least 2, maybe more years old. Here it is.
I've realized that my MO is I get started, I get excited, we have a new yarn, I find some project that I want to cast on, I get 3/4 of the way there, and then I just lose steam.
Well, Dinah, they'll be happy to hear it's a free pattern on Ravelry.
Free.
It's called Little Sister's Dress. It's by Tora Froseth. Forsythe. Yeah, well, it says Frosythe. I don't know. It must be, it's in a different language, so I don't know.
I will put the details down at the bottom.
We'll put this in, but it is a free pattern on Ravelry, which is nice, and it goes from 3 months to 24 months.
I don't recall the size that I did. I think because I put it down for so long, I didn't remember. But
You probably did. I don't know. I don't think you did the 3-month size.
no, I was asking Barbara if this would fit Sammy. Would this be like a 1-year-old?
I think it's a 1-year size.
Lucy?
That would fit Lucy. Yeah.
Well, maybe 6 to 12 month size.
Yep.
In any event, a very cute project.
But it's a great for if you have that one skein at home of fingering weight yarn.
It would be a quick knit if you didn't put it down for 2 years.
It kind of defeats the purpose,
this is
right?
One. Yes.
But that could be any fingering weight yarn.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
The Anzul is lovely, whether you use squishy or dreamy or
absolutely. I'm not quite sure why we made the conversion. We started off with dreamy.
Because that's probably when you started that.
Yes, when I first had Anzula in, which is I would say at least.
Well, that's when I did the
5 years?
Dragonfeld. When I did the Dragonfeld, we didn't have squishy. We
Correct.
had dreamy.
Right.
And
so
that's
it was
been
the same
done
time.
It's about 3 years, I'd say. More than 3 years.
More than three, because she's been here for a couple of
She's been here a couple of times.
Right. So, in any event.
But there's no date stamped on the dress that says how old it is, right? So nobody knows when you started and when you finished, right?
No. So I'm quite pleased that that's done.
But what was the first thing? Wasn't there a hat that you finished?
Yes. So when I was at Rhinebeck, well, this
right.
isn't that old, but when I was at Rhinebeck,
yes,
I purchased this yarn at Indie Untangled. It's Mental Mush, which sadly is not available anymore. But the colorway is Creepy Graffiti, and I absolutely fell
Who's
in
it
love.
from?
It's from Asylum Fibers. So Stephanie, the talented indie dyer behind Asylum Fibers,
Put that on.
dyed this yarn. And when I was in Japan, I brought this yarn, and I said I'm going to knit a hat.
You brought it with you.
I brought the skein with me. I did the cast on, and while I was there, I wasn't quite sure. I figured it would just be a regular basic hat. But while I was there, I was inspired by these slopey lines, a lot of hats that
you saw
people on the street wearing had this unusual shaped angled hat. So it inspired me to knit this hat, and
she's got
I finally got it finished.
There she goes.
So here I am, and I'm not quite sure if you could see it.
And now that yarn, that Mental Mush would be like a chunky gauge,
it's
3
a chunky
stitches
gauge.
to the inch.
If you
maybe?
wanted to make something, you could use Bedlam from Asylum Fibers or
right.
Maniac, which is a lovely yarn. So that is something that you could use, and we have the pattern available if you're interested.
Mm-hmm.
So this is
another finished object, another
so
converted.
This was a WIP. This was
that
a current
was a
work
WIP.
in progress
working on.
that I converted to an FL.
And the reason it's a WIP is she hadn't put it aside for that long.
Right.
It had only been put aside
current.
from
wasn't
January.
Unfinished. Right. Okay.
Good. What else did you finish? She's got a big one there.
This is a big one.
This is a very big one she's going to show you.
So this is my Speckle and Pop from the Mystery Knit Along. Sorry, Pam, you want to help me hold it?
Mm-hmm. I think this was last summer.
This was a while ago. So this was done in Breathless by Shalimar. It was 3 colors, and I used very, very pale colors, so it's very hard to see, but there's an ivory.
There you go.
A light gray, and then towards the end where Pam is on this side is a deeper gray. So
Let's
it's
move
very
it down.
subtle.
Let's go see if we can pick up the... Yeah, you see it's very subtle color change.
Yep. And this was done with Artful Bell. So the...
Artful Bell?
Yes.
Really?
The color bundles is what I used for the pop.
That's right.
So I used a bundle, and I wasn't sure if the bundle would be enough, but it clearly was enough, and I had a little bit of leftover in every color, so there was enough to do the bind off at the bottom.
Oh, you had enough for the bind off too.
Yes, and I actually did do the gradient bind off.
You must tell them, Diana, when you put the project down, where were you in the project?
It's so pathetic. I was 12 rows shy of being done.
So she was all the way down here? Were you past these holes?
Oh, yeah. I had started the brioche. So I was, like I said, I got about 3/4.
More than 3/4 on this one.
Done.
90%
I think
done.
when I looked at the pattern, I saw that I had 12 rows to go plus the I-cord bind off. Now, 820 stitches per row. It's still a lot of knitting, but once I made my promise, I was determined to get it done. This had to be something.
Well, she saw that this was something that could be gotten done.
Well, I knew that it would be a great thing to get done, a satisfying thing. But I just hope I wear it.
You'll wear it. I think it depends how. I think Dinah was concerned that most of Stephen West's patterns, a lot of people use
I would probably wear
really
it like
bright,
this.
colorful colors, and she thought maybe this was
A little too bland.
I don't know if you had it on the other day in a nicer fashion than that.
No, I had it like this. The other way I felt like a lampshade, like I was wearing
The
a
first
lampshade.
way you should, but even still, you
really,
had it on another day.
This is like choking me.
I know. You'll find your comfort level there.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
But you know
That's
what?
it.
It's done.
It's done. This
It's
was a
done.
big one.
That was
Quite
a big one.
relief.
Yeah, that was a big one.
So, guess what? Another empty project bag.
Another empty project bag. Like we need another empty one, right?
Okay, so that's number 3. Now, I don't know if you guys saw this, but I posted at least one.
Well, this was not.
This was a before and after. This was in February.
You
part
began
of the
this
challenge.
before the podcast?
I started it in February.
Oh,
Yes, it was after,
I didn't
actually.
realize that. Yeah, so this wasn't
So,
really a...
I am going to EYF, and we're staying in the same hotel as a couple of other women.
Well, first of all, you
fabulous
have
women.
to tell them what EYF is. Not everybody knows what
sorry.
EYF is.
It's the Edinburgh, if I'm saying that correct.
Edinburgh.
Yarn Festival. It's taking place actually March
It's
13th,
Thursday.
14th, I guess March 15th.
15th?
Yeah, the 15th through
18th?
yes, March 18th. And
In Scotland.
In Scotland, and I'm really very excited to be going. I was
How
on
lucky
the fence
is she?
about going, and I decided I was just going to go. I'm going by myself, and I'm very fortunate to meet up with a bunch of other women.
Yeah.
And I feel very lucky, and I'm very excited. And so I made these party slippers. So in the hotel, I'm hoping to wear them. And
Made out of Bedlam?
no, Maniac, actually. One skein of Maniac. Now, this yarn is also
chunky, right?
by Asylum Fibers, and I'm really excited about the way they turned out.
And what's the pattern called? House Party Slippers?
They're called Pom Pom Party Slippers. I
Nice.
believe, I'm not sure if it's free or not, actually.
I'll find out.
But they're Pom Pom Party Slippers. It took one skein of Maniac, and it was enough to do the 2 pom-poms, and I was able to get the pair with very little left over. And Stephanie actually had made a suggestion to do a slipped I-cord edge, so it gave it a really nice detail around
Stephanie
the top
from
of Asylum Fibers. And this happens to be the vitamin D colorway that she dyed up for me, and I'm very excited to be taking it with me. So this is one of my projects.
Yeah.
That was a recent WIP, and it's done. I felt. So that's number 4.
It is not a free pattern, but it's from the Wooliers.
The Wooliers, and I will put that down.
Yep.
And they're very cute.
Very
For
bulky
quick,
weight
easy
yarn,
knit.
3 different sizes.
Yeah, they
Quick
have like
knit.
a foot chart, so it's really neat. If you need to make it bigger, smaller, there are ways to adjust.
Nice.
Alrighty.
But that really wasn't. That wasn't an.
That wasn't
a UFO.
No,
that
that's
was
a current present
project.
but,
Yeah, but she got done quickly.
Correct. I have to say, for my projects that I was
that were
counting at home,
languishing in the project bags.
There were really 3
those
that
all
I
of them?
finished. These are all of them, so I can actually cross some off my list.
You've got to finish that one soon.
I'll read them off. This is what's sitting at home. Exploration Station, Stephen West. Penguono, Stephen West. My Aaronmore, it's the Granite Island.
I like that.
An
I'm
Umber
gonna
Bryan
finish that.
shawl. My Speckle and Pop, I'm crossing off the list. I have a black and white hat that's not done. My Asylum hat and Mental Mush, done. Crossed it off. My Shibui Athos, number 2. Urban Wrap, crossing it off.
You haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it, but I'll show it to you. I have a poncho that I'm designing in extra. That's really shame on me. Flurry, it's the blanket. My Chelsea blanket out of Quaigu. Down the rabbit hole. I meant to bring that. My Zara Plus vest.
Oh, that. Yep.
Jake's blanket is in the works. That's going to be a slow one. My crocheted shawl. You know which one that is? No. That is from Long Island Yarn and Farm. Remember we did the winery trip?
I was doing a scarf.
That's over a year
ago. But you were
ago.
doing a shawl.
I'm doing the shawl.
Oh.
How are you doing a scarf? Are we all doing the same one?
It wasn't
the motifs.
It wasn't a shawl though, was it?
I thought it was a shawl.
Whatever. It's like a wrap thing. Yeah, I have that too, actually.
Mystery knit along. That brings me to this piece. This is my beautiful birthday present that all my best ladies got me for my birthday.
We talked about that in the last podcast.
Did we? I showed the kit?
Mm-hmm.
We hadn't gotten the clue yet.
Correct. We hadn't gotten
the clue.
So
I showed you the actual kit. So this is actually it. It's called the Love Letters. It was the Love Letters Mystery Knit Along, and now it's a cowl, and it's all
a
done.
finished object now.
It's
Went
an
from
FO.
being exactly.
This was amazing. I have to say, it was fun. It was current. The clues were attainable, achievable, manageable.
Right.
We were all able to get through it as well as do our other knitting.
Correct.
So it wasn't so stressful. You didn't feel like you were burning to get it done.
Right.
There was adequate time.
And there were 4 weeks worth of clues.
4 weeks. So I will take it off.
Now, Dinah's cowl was in the colorways. We purchased the kit for her.
Right.
And these were the dyed colorways for the kit.
These are the colors that were actually enclosed in the kit.
Mm-hmm.
It started down here at the bottom with this very pretty fuchsia and this feather fan pattern, and there's like a little edge in a contrast color. Clue number 2 was this section over here. It was actually from here down to here.
Clue 2?
That was clue 2.
Wasn't the slip stitch?
Yes, it was. Then clue 3 was the second half of the slip stitch.
Yeah, you're right.
And then clue number 4 was this top with this really interesting I-cord edging that's twisted. So fun, never done it before. And there was slip stitching. This is an interesting pattern. It looks like brioche, but it's not. Just a lot of fun. A great collaboration. Absolutely fun. New different stitches, and I love it. So happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to Dinah.
It's done. Pam finished hers.
That's what I'm wearing. But we picked our own colors.
Yes. I have Barbara's here. She was kind enough to leave it. This is Barbara's. And Barbara actually, yes.
Bottom.
So what was interesting is when you got your clues, there were different options that you could do. I chose the romantic way. And the romantic way meant that you are actually only using one color in the first clue. Barbara decided to have a little more pop in her life, and she went with the multicolored stripes. So it was really neat that every step of the way, not every step, but some of the steps you had different options. For example, the way it ended, you didn't have to do this 2-color I-cord rim. There were other options. So a fun knit. If you're looking to make a cute accessory, this is called Love Letters. And I'm sure the pattern is available online or will be. Today was the last. Oh, no, tomorrow actually it might be published as a full.
Yeah, last Tuesday was the last pattern.
Was the last clue.
Yep.
So you can certainly look for it. It was really a fun knit. So thanks again.
You're welcome,
it was great.
Dinah. It's fun.
So that was number 5. And then, I know you guys saw this last time, but this is my urban wrap. It is actually finished. I'm super, super excited for this decadent wrap in Clinton Hill cashmere. There's so much cashmere. There's so much yarn here. Let me see if I can put this on like a scarf. Unfortunately, I'm wearing black today, so it's kind of hard for you to see. But certainly a great way to stay warm, especially since we're getting more snow.
Yep.
What's today's date?
The 12th.
March 12th.
I think.
Okay, there you go. So this was a lot of fun. Lovely to knit with. Lovely to wear. Nice and warm. And that is my 6th and final object finished. Off my needles.
Thank God.
There.
Thank goodness.
Woo! Did it.
Very good, Dinah. You got a lot done?
I got a lot done.
She got a lot done.
So I was telling Pam.
She had a very productive month.
Yes. Although I made that promise for last month, it's not happening next month.
No. Well, as I said to you, you're going away for 2 weeks.
Yes.
So, you know.
I'll be knitting.
Now, this is the thing. Dinah's going to EYF, which is a yarn fest. So you know what that means. Yarn fest.
Buy more yarn.
Now, Dinah has she's gotten rid of some of her WIPs and or unfinished objects, but now may the scales be tilted again with new acquisitions that she might be making.
Absolutely. I've got bags to fill. I don't know.
She's got a couple of empty project bags. Well, you had some empty ones before you even began,
oh,
right?
Yes. Well, that was part of my cleaning.
Yeah. Well, but that's all good stuff. It's all fun. You know, who doesn't want more yarn? Got the hair on my nose.
You know, that's a good question.
What?
Acquisitions.
Mm-hmm.
Pam and I were having this debate. We were talking about unfinished projects or WIPs. And you were telling me, or reminding me.
Well, Dinah was claiming that her WIPs, she had no more WIP. No, she had no more unfinished objects. Or she...
No, I have plenty, obviously, clearly
list. Yeah, forget that. But, you know...
But you were saying, you were identifying other projects that were not on this list.
Correct.
So I clarified.
Dinah's claim is that since she hasn't cast anything on...
No, it's not even wound. The yarn
it doesn't make a difference, wound or not wound. But
guys,
since you haven't cast it on, it's not a what? You're saying it's not a...
If you have not
It's not a WIP or it's not a... it's still not an
acquisition. It's still an acquisition.
I
so
don't
guys,
believe that.
Please leave a comment. I need support.
I don't believe that one. But anyway, so that we had that conversation because
so
we were
anything I
about
acquire while being abroad is going to be considered a WIP. So if I buy for 10 projects, those are 10 WIPs.
But Dinah, if you go home and you go through projects and you have 10 projects that you haven't begun yet, that's some kind of a status, right? There's some kind of. It's not just that you don't have those things. I might just have to. You know, they've got to be.
Put them on eBay or something.
Well, no, don't do that.
I have to give them up.
I get first claim.
I might have to rearrange my list.
I'm not saying you should do that. But anyway.
I just may not get to them.
Dinah made great progress this month. And listen, every month it varies. It depends what you've got going on. You know, if this love letters had been more, you know, challenging in terms of the amount of knitting that had to be done. I would not have been able
to get done because this was definitely my first and foremost.
Right. So, I mean, you know, it's always nice. And, you know, you may have something that has more counting or, I mean, not that this was difficult, but it was a little more challenging in that there was counting.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't mindless knitting.
We had to increase the feather and fan, the slip stitches. Right. You were moving patterns over. But it was all, I enjoyed it because it was something new.
Correct.
It wasn't something that we've done over and over again.
Correct.
And it was a play on color in a different way.
Right.
So this is really a lot
of times we're motivated to knit something.
I would knit this again.
Of the color. Would you really?
Yeah, I enjoyed this. This is definitely a fun knit, and just the way that it lays, it's so cute.
It was really.
I mean, you could really put one print or one, you know, motif, I guess, more prominent than the other. I actually cast on. There's another little embellishment that I didn't get to, but I am going to include.
It was very cute, actually. Right.
So. There are eyelet rows in here. I don't know if you could tell, but right in here, there's some eyelet rows. And you can actually make eye cords to weave through in and out of the eyelets as ties.
I think they took, you know, you did half in maybe the two solid colors.
Right. I think I would just do one color. And then they have little hearts. And they said to actually just make 2 sets to make a puffed heart.
Right.
But I would put one on each end and do it as a tie. But then I can't remove the cord. That's the only thing.
That's right. Then you can't move the cord. Well, you might decide. We'll change your mind.
So I still might add to it,
which is very cute too. Although I mean, it's fine the way it is. I mean, it's very comfortable.
It's cute.
It's not like a choking kind of a cowl.
No.
And, you know, I wasn't too thrilled with my one color choice, but again, you know, when we picked hers was a kit. So, but when we were picking all colors, we really didn't know what we were making.
So I think they're beautiful.
But I mean, I think all said and done, you know, they're fine.
Lovely.
They're fine. You're not going to be particular
and
about
each one is unique. And even though people have the same kit, like we have Carol who's making it. I know that she did the
kit,
bright, but she did the pop color, so hers will look different. So even though many of us have the same kit, depending on what you pick for this color, you know, for this type of edging or this beginning, they come out differently.
Well, Joan is really also making one, and Joan said to us, I'm going to use one color. Of course, the contrarian. She was going to use one color, not change, and we said not change colors at all. But then she added a hedgehog
She realized that when she got, I think, up to this clue, you clearly needed the second color to get the motif.
But even her second color is very tonal to her first color.
Yeah, but it works.
Right.
It really works.
It looked nice. It was very cute.
And then she picked it up and edged it.
Right.
So we'll bring hers out, and I'll definitely show it either on Instagram. Maybe I'll do an insert. Actually, I can't do an insert because I won't see her. Yeah. But we don't even know if hers is done yet or not. So
anyway,
all right. So there's one of your WIPs. What else?
This is my only WIP.
Okay.
don't have any other whips to show you.
But you have things started.
Well, yeah, it's funny because we started talking about our projects, and, I don't have as many projects as Dinah.
She's not as bad as I am.
Okay, here's an example. Now, Daniel's sweater. It's not cast on. It's not wound. But what is that?
It's an acquisition.
So that doesn't count in my project list, right?
It's on your list of things. It's in your queue.
It's in my queue.
It's not a whip.
I think Ravelry has to come up with a term for projects that you have.
Right, an acquisition. It's part of the queue.
Well, an AC. Anyway.
It's in your library.
And I realized when I went through my list of projects that a lot of my projects, I'm sorry, I keep scratching my nose, but it just feels so itchy.
You ready for a fight?
I don't know.
She's scratching her nose.
But anyway, a lot of my projects are like really long-term projects, which is kind of disturbing.
I like long-term projects.
Well, it's nice to get something done. But I will show you what I did cast on this month. I did cast this on finally. I know Dinah's sick of hearing about it. Dinah's sick of hearing about this, but I did cast on for the Veronika.
She finally cast on.
By Shannon Cook, which I think the Veronika is in.
We've been talking about this since we first started podcasting.
Correct. Isn't the Veronika one of the, what's that March Madness from Mason-Dixon? I thought it
was just shawls.
No. Oh, no. There were 3 different sections.
Oh, 3 different categories?
Sections, yeah.
Sure.
I thought that was one of them. But in any event, I finally cast on. Well, part of the dilemma we had, Dinah, in all honesty, was what yarn to use, right?
I think you not settled. I think you decided
I
on
decided
a really
to
one.
use, let me get the right name now. You can hold that.
It's Aaron More Light.
Aaron More Light from Fiber Company? Fiber Company, Aaron More Light.
Look at how pretty.
In color, Cronin.
I don't know if the lighting here, because we kind of moved the table. We're in a different setup.
Yeah, but I started this just the other day. One
it's
thing
neutral,
we realized was it was a worsted weight yarn, it said, but when we researched the yarn, it was not a worsted weight yarn. It was
I think it was a light, right, and they were knitting it up to a worsted weight yarn.
Correct.
So it's very important when you're picking out your yarns and you're looking for, if you're trying to substitute anyway, in the yarn details on the Ravelry page, if something has been out for a while, there's a tab that says yarn ideas. And it's always very good to look to see what other people have used if you're thinking about substituting. And clearly for this reason.
Well, yeah. And so, I mean, I think the gauge or the feel might be just a little bit lighter.
It might feel a little lighter.
Than the yarn they use, but I did the gauge and the gauge was fine. I think,
but it's not flimsy. It's got body. It's got texture.
It's that wool that you would call that has a kind of a roughness to it, a little bit of a roughness to it. The Aaron Moore.
I wouldn't say it's rough, but it's definitely more of an outdoorsy.
Right.
A wool feel. It's a wool feel, right.
But the nice thing about the pattern is she gives you this really nice schematic that has all the measurements. She's got about 10 different measurements for each size, from here to here, from there to there. So as I'm knitting this along, I will make sure that I have the length I am supposed to have.
Right. Are you getting row gauge?
I think we said I was a little short on the row gauge.
Okay, but you're going to compensate.
I'll compensate for it. So if I have to be at 10 inches before I cast on more stitches, I will just do another repeat. But if it's off, it's not off by much.
And I think it'll open up.
Right. So
it's
that's
really,
one
really nice.
I would like to have done by the next podcast.
Ooh, did you guys hear that? Let's hold her to it.
I think I may be able to get that done. But anyway, so that's, and the other one that I've really been trying to work on, which you saw the last time, but you guys are holding me accountable, which is why I have to do it, right, Dinah, is the lace.
This is really pretty.
Right, which is very pretty. Each pattern, I don't know which one is my favorite yet, but this is now,
look at how gorgeous this is.
How pretty is that? This is the third one, which is about halfway done. And the fifth panel, which we're going to start working on tonight, has a little bead in it. So I don't know if they're going to put a bead in or not. But it's, each...
I love this pattern. There's like a little twist in there. It's so pretty. I don't know if you can see the detail, but right in the center of the diamond is this cute little...
Right. And the next pattern is, she does this 2-stitch cable or 3-stitch cable. I forget what it is, but it's doing the cable without a cable needle.
Ooh, fun.
So that's a nice technique. And what I did do on this, Dinah, I don't know if you know where I did it. I did a Russian join. I don't even know where I did it. I did it somewhere down here. But you can't even see it.
That's the beauty.
So that's always interesting to do a Russian join. It's not, what's the other join? A spit? What do they call it? A spit?
Splice?
No, spit something. A spit join or something like that. This was the Russian join.
Spit and slice?
You use a needle and you kind of
weave it through.
Yeah.
Well, which pattern is that?
This is Michelle Hunter's. This pattern.
Knit Pearl Hunter?
Knit Pearl Hunter, Michelle Hunter. I didn't bring the bag.
Knitted lace?
Knitted lace. It's her, after she did the blanket and with the blocks, people were asking for something more immediate, was her first book. Intermediate. So.
And then she had building blocks with color, and now she has kind of building blocks with lace.
Right. They're just not blocks, they're just sections.
Very pretty.
You know, and I think there are 9 different lace patterns, plus an applied edging that she does. And, you know, she talks about things like the Russian join and, you know, cables without a cable needle, beading if you want to do the beading.
Lace, of course.
Lifelines and things like that. Chart knitting if you want to do the charts. So
that's been a pretty popular class for you, actually.
It has been. A
lot of women actually even still signing up for it.
Yeah, and they can. You know, we don't have to all be, and that's one thing I said, we don't have to be at the same place at the same time.
No, it's nice.
So I've been trying to make progress on that.
Well, you've made a lot.
Some.
Looks really good.
We'll see.
All right. Should we talk about what's new in the shop?
Sure, why not?
All righty.
What's new, Dinah?
Well, do you want to start or should I?
Start, you go.
Okay. We have some new products in from Della Q. We have 2 new project bags. This one says, shh, I'm counting. It's a cute little drawstring bag.
Yep.
Great. Probably could fit a decent sized shawl.
It's nice.
Yeah. And she has another saying here that says, high in fiber, low in calories. I like that. Another project bag. And she has this beautiful trio.
Oh, that's nice.
It's 3 bags, one inside the other, almost like the Russian dolls. And the beauty with this bag is that it's mesh, so you could see your project.
It has a gusset on the bottom, too.
It has a really nice gusset. Here, let me see if I can put some yarn in there. So you can see your project. On one side, it's fabric.
Look at how pretty that is.
It's mesh, and you can see the project. A lot of people have been asking for see-through bags, so this is nice. And she comes in a set of 3. So when you purchase this, you get all 3. 1, 2, and there's one more in there. That's nice. Also from Della Q. Do you want to get me the biscotti? Forgot about that one.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Della Q, also from Della Q. This is the Q Grand. You may have seen it on, I don't know if I've shown it before, but I've certainly posted it on Instagram, or you might have seen it in our unboxing. Whoops. I guess that wasn't too clever. Let's go this way. So this basically is a circular pouch, and you can see all these tabs. Each little tab is labeled with a different size, and basically you put your circular needle inside. So you can fit a 16-inch, a 24-inch, a 32-inch, interchangeables. She's got it sized from 0 through 17, and she's got 2 empty pockets if you need extras, and it's just really very well made.
I have one of those.
Yeah, it's great. And you've got this tie, so it's expandable, so you have room.
Yeah, it's soft, so it expands.
It's very light. So this is the Q Grand. So you can find that. We got the new Pom Pom magazine. It's in the shop for those of you who are interested. We've been waiting for it. I don't know why we had a little delay, but there are lots of pretty patterns in here. So Pom Pom is in. And from the same company, here, do you want to talk about this? I'll go get Laine number 4.
Okay. This is a book, Bristol Ivy book, which has been very popular. And in here she has some really great stitch patterns. Let me see if I can kind of flip through it and show you. Oops, let me get a picture. There's a very pretty lace shawl. The car shawl. No, that wasn't the car shawl. It's another pretty one.
That was very popular at Lineback.
Yep. So it's a really nice, it's a nice book to have. The photography is
The photography is
fabulous.
beautiful.
Here's
the
that one again that
yeah.
you, so look at
I
this.
love
We
that ladder.
love this ladder.
I love that display.
Isn't that great?
That is absolutely awesome.
So anyway, we have that. It's called Knitting Outside the Box by Bristol Ivy.
Mm-hmm. We have my knitting notes. It's a journal from Laine. It is fabulous to log the projects that you're working on.
I think you can log about 21 projects in that.
Is that
book.
what it was?
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
They have a tab here that says name, designer, yarn. You have the quantities, the gauge, etc. So it's a great way to journal what you've been knitting.
And if you have to keep track while you're knitting of what row you're on or what
you can keep track.
If you make any changes or modifications to it, so that you can do it to the other sleeve or the other
right. Because sometimes
side.
You modify the pattern and you don't know what you do.
Change the length a little bit.
Exactly. So it's a great way to journal and keep your notes. And if you ever want to make a project again.
And I think they have an abbreviations page, knitting abbreviations.
Yes, they have the rulers. Yes, so it's really neat. They have, it's great. It's a very cute gift if you want to give to someone.
Sure, that's
it's a great little thing to have. Yep. And along with that, from Laine, we got the new Laine 4 is in stock, and we've been shipping a lot of these out. So if you want to get a copy. Beautifully done, photography, her patterns.
Yeah, they have some really nice articles. I think there's an article on Brooklyn Tweed in this one.
I think, what was the coverage on this one? Were they saying that it was Paris or something like that?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Not sure. Okay.
Yeah, so this has a lot of had some really nice patterns in it.
We have,
what else?
From Della Q. I thought I pulled it.
What is it?
The sock keeper.
Oh, it's over here.
Oh, okay. Pam has it.
It's over here.
So we have a little emphasis on some sock knitters, or for sock knitters. This is called the sock keeper. So basically, anyone who is interested in knitting a pair of socks, this is a great way to hold your DPNs or even your flexi flips, because these just kind of fold inside.
So in other words, if you're working on a sock,
you have them.
You can put your
divided.
DPNs.
Oh, yeah, right. It snaps open.
You can put them all in there and snap it so that it won't go anywhere.
Right. And what happens is your work in progress is actually coming out. I'll insert a photo because we had a customer today come in, Nikki.
Oh, did she use it?
Yes. She was actually using the Biscotti yarns, which is ironic. And she had the DPNs. It was really neat. All right. Well, anyway, I won't open these.
The flexi flips?
Yeah, I'm trying to get them open.
I think it's this way, huh?
No wonder.
Pick it opens from that.
Oh, hello. There you go. So anyway, these kind of fit right in here.
Yep.
Like so.
Yep.
And then your work in progress would come out here, and it would work for mittens as well. So it's kind of neat because you don't lose your stitches. It's a great way to hold your knitting. You keep it all compact. You can't drop stitches. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So it's a cute little accessory.
I like our accessories.
Sock knitters.
And of course, flexi flips.
Yes. We spoke about these before, haven't we?
I think we did. I'm not sure. We've gotten some more in since we last did it.
Yes, we have a nice delivery that just arrived. These are the flexi flips. There are 3 needles, and it allows you to work in a circular formation using 3 instead of 5 or 4 DPNs. And then the third is your spare that you use to knit. There's a dull point. I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah, that's it.
And a sharper point. So they're double-ended, and they're flexible inside so that you could get your circular formation. Yep. Very popular, hard to get.
Yeah. We tend to get small sizes, and then we don't have big sizes and vice versa.
Yeah, it's very sporadic.
Whatever.
But
it works.
We just got a nice delivery. And with that,
speaking of DPNs and socks, right?
We have self-striping yarn. This is Biscotti, sure. This is from Biscotti. I think I might need to put my glasses on.
It looks like a variegated yarn, but
it actually stripes out.
Stripes out beautifully.
So this one is called Clownfish. I can remember that. This one is called, let's see, Sahara. I've got Rainbow. I believe this one was Watermelon. And this one was Ariel. And this is Uniform Sorcerer, something like that.
De Sorcerer.
Yes, Uniform de Sorcerer. Right. So I feel like we are missing one, but I think there's another one, but it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Well,
they're a lot of fun. They're playful. All you have to do is knit, and it self-stripes. And
it's 435 yards.
One skein makes the pair.
Yep.
and they have free patterns. So
yep.
come
There
on
you
in
go.
and check it out.
There you go.
This is a little zippered pouch that came from Delicue for crochet hooks and little small accessories.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
What
So
is
this
that
is
for?
cute. Just the gusset that's inside.
Oh, maybe it did something.
And
That's
she's got
great
them
for
in all
crochet
different prints.
hooks or whatever.
Mhm. And then we have project bags.
Some cute, a reorder came in.
Yes, big reorder. So these beautiful project bags, they're the boxies. A lot of you may recognize them. We've had them in the shop now for quite some time.
Yeah.
They're in from Canada, from Zigzag
Sorry.
Stitches. And you've seen me walk the beaches, the parks. I love to knit and walk, and it really holds quite a bit of yarn. So these are the new prints that just came in.
This
And
one
we'll
is
show you
a
a sampling. That's Paris.
Paris print.
I think I'm taking this on my trip. That's not available anymore. That's a tease.
Which one is this thing?
Don't remember. Something with the butterflies, enchanted
There are
something.
butterflies on this
Yes.
side. Yep, there you go.
And we have this one both in gray and in the chartreuse, I believe. Is there a chartreuse there?
Yes,
Yes.
there is, yeah.
So this comes in two different colorways. This is Raindrops.
That's a pretty colorway. Isn't that pretty? This is a floral. Very pretty.
And we have many more.
It's just
but
a
they're
few of
too
the
many.
ones that have come in.
Yes, too many to show. So those are new for project bags. We have new yarn. Do you want to get skinny jeans?
Sure.
From Taki Stacy Charles, we have new shades of skinny jeans. Last year you may have seen it in the original denim colors, the dark denim, the regular denim,
I think
and
on
the
the
light
first
denim.
podcast I had a shawl
Yes,
crocheted
that's
out
right.
of
Very
skinny
good,
jeans,
Pam.
and it was in this colorway. Or was there a medium colorway?
I think it was in the medium
It was
shade,
a medium
actually.
shade. And this year,
It
I'm gonna
came
show you
out
the
with
colors.
shades of gray,
So from this end, it's almost like a black,
a dark charcoal.
a medium gray, and then a silvery gray, and then it's a darker denim and a lighter denim. That's what we have this year.
Very cool that they came out with a new palette.
And as you can see, it's a
Ribbon.
tape. It's a ribbon. It's a ribbon tape,
Very neat to
which
work
is
with.
nice.
This is their new book, and they have new patterns. This top right here,
Oh, that's cute with the cable.
yes,
Nice.
is a cute t-shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got a cable going up the front as well as the back. I believe this poncho might be done in the same yarn. And
It's 18 stitches to 4 inches, and it is about 114 yards of skein. So, you know, it's a nice yarn to work with.
it's a great spring yarn.
And when I
But
crocheted, I was on an M. M as in Mary.
I thought it was N.
Well, if it was N, it was N as in Nancy. But the bottom line, it was a big hook, so it really went quite quickly.
Mhm.
And there was a vest last year that we did too.
Very popular vest. The
fringed
fringe vest,
vest,
yes. And I actually we just did a design for Fran.
That's right.
She had a beautiful t-shirt that we had done for her. She was going on a cruise,
Mm-hmm.
and we incorporated the 3 colors. There's an Instagram post. If I can, I will insert the picture so you guys can see it.
But there are a lot of 18 stitches to 4 inches. There are a lot of patterns that you can use that yarn
Oh,
for.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Any Aran Way pattern.
Mhm.
And it's a nice spring summer yarn.
Yeah.
This is new from Taki Stacy Charles. It's the Stacy Charles book. It's called Uptown Girl, and there are lots of pretty spring patterns in here as well. Let's see if I could kind of glance through. Here we go.
The pictures. That's what you want to show them. That's the Fiore. Isn't Fiore in there?
No, that's Laine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We got the Laine Splash,
We'll do that for the next podcast.
but I feel like we have to wrap it up. You have a class that you're about to
I have
teach.
a class
you have your
that's
lace.
coming in, but we have to do the giveaway.
Oh, yes. We have a congratulations in order.
We did. We had someone who won. We asked you guys to post about how many WIPs or projects you were working on at one time. And we were very...
This was a fun one.
Yep. And most knitters are in the same situation. I don't know. There might have been 1 or 2 who said they have 1 or 2 projects, but most everybody has multiple projects, multiple project bags. And
Well, we have a lucky winner. Jane Ricci. You are the winner of 2 skeins of Kirsty yarn and the enamel pin for the knitting place. So thank you so much for leaving your...
Right?
Yes, you're getting a free pattern, but clearly you don't have to follow it. But you have a beret and glove pattern to use for the 2 skeins. And we want to thank you for leaving your comments and everyone who participated in our giveaway. And we also want to offer a new giveaway.
What do we want to offer, Dinah?
I think what we're going to offer is 2 skeins of yarn to do the Mermaid spell shawl.
Oh, that's great. Do we have? Was the Mermaid picked up today?
It was, but we do have Susie's. It's right over there. Long Island Yarn Crawl is promoting. We're very thankful to Joan Forgione. She's a Long Island designer, and she donated this pattern. It's called Mermaid Spell, and it's this beautiful
on the right side?
shawl.
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
yeah.
And it's got a beautiful lace border. And for anyone who purchases the yarn at a Long Island yarn shop, can get the pattern for free with the code.
Yeah.
So I will be happy to gift it along with the yarn for anybody who leaves a comment
About? What's the comment about?
about what we spoke about before.
Which was what I forgot.
Our acquisitions.
What is your opinion about yarn that you may have but
In your
haven't
stash.
started yet?
Is that considered a WIP, a UFO, or is it just an acquisition?
No, it can't be a UFO.
Unfinished object.
No, you didn't
It's a
start
WIP?
it yet. But it could
So
be
what's
a
the
WIP.
difference between a work in progress?
My point is it needs to be counted with what you have waiting to be done. I really don't care what you call it. But it's a project that is waiting to be done.
Yes, but
If you're not going to do it, remove it. Put it back in the general population of your stash. Don't you agree?
No.
Whatever. That's what makes the world go round, right? Different opinions.
Correct. So we want to know, is the yarn in your stash, if it's not wound and cast on, is that considered a WIP?
But there's a pattern with it.
Yes.
We're not talking about your stash that you just liked, oh, I like this skein, I'm going to buy it. No, it's yarn that you have with a specific pattern.
In mind, yep, for sure.
Put aside to do this pattern with this yarn, but you haven't started it yet.
Is that a WIP or an acquisition? Let us know. Good luck to you all. Thanks for tuning in.
No. But Dinah's going away. We have to wish her well.
Oh.
By the time you
What
guys,
did I do?
when you're watching this, she'll probably be jetting across to Europe.
I'm going to try to post this podcast before I take off.
There you
And with
go.
any luck, I will. And hopefully I'll see you when I get back. Hopefully I land safe and sound.
And she'll come back showing us all her new acquisitions.
Yes, not
And then
WIPs.
she'll have to tell us what they are. Are they WIPs? Are they,
Exactly.
acquisitions? Whatever.
Yes. So thanks again
Safe
for tuning
travels,
in.
Dinah. We'll see you when you get back.
Thank you. Thanks, Pam. Take care, everybody.
Happy knitting.
Bye.